Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's start today. So yesterday we spoke about the SAP Activate methodology, and we discussed how SAP Activate methodology is different than the SAP methodology that we were using till now. Okay, and today I'll be showing you the first look at the SAP server. Okay, so which will give you the idea of how the server has been changed compared to ECC, like what exactly is Fiori screen, how does it looks like, what are the different things that you'll be able to see using Fiori, what will happen to my traditional GUI. So all these things we'll discuss today. Okay, so just give me a minute, let me just share the server directly. Okay, let me know once you are able to see the screen.
Yeah, we can see Gaurav. We can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So now this is the SAP S4HANA server. Okay, it is, as you can see, it is very similar to the servers that we were using for ECC. So in order to connect to SAP S4HANA, it is the same screen that you can connect. On top of that, you will be also getting a new screen now, which is SAP Fiori screen, which will allow you to do your transactions in the simpler way. Okay, so now if I want to see which status, or sorry, which version we are using for this SAP S4HANA, so similar to how you see in ECC, let me just show you which server we are on. So in the status, you can go to this product version, and within this, you can go to installed product versions, and you can see this is nothing but 1610. Okay, so SP stack is 0, which means it is blank. So normally what happens is when SAP, as I told you, in terms of on-premise, they come up with the annual upgrades. So 1511, 1610, now I think we'll be getting 1710, 1810, right? So these are the annual upgrades that we'll be getting in case of on-premise. But once the basic versions comes on the particular release like 1610, it may happen that some enhancements or some corrections are also provided in between the year. So normally when this enhancement come, the SP stack will change to 1, 2 like this. Okay, so currently it is SP stack is blank. This means that this is the basic version of 1610. So in 1511, there was a basic version, there was SP stack 1 and there was SP stack 2. Okay, but in 1610 as of today, there is only this basic stack, but going forward it may happen that SAP come up with different stacks in 1610 also. Right, so this is how you can check which version we are currently using. And if you close this, you can see which database is being used and what is the version of the database. So normally in traditional SAP system, we have we normally use the third-party databases like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, Sybase. All the databases were supported. But in case of SAP S4HANA, since the name itself, it is very clear that it is totally built upon HANA database. So it is not possible that you are using the SAP S4HANA 1610 or 1511 on any other database. It has to be always the HANA database, because that is the whole idea of this new application, that it is totally built upon HANA database. No other database is supported in case of this application. Okay, so you can see HDB stands for HANA database, and this is the version that we are currently using. Apart from this, one thing to note here is if you go into this product version, this is the main component, SAP S4 Core. Okay, what is SAP S4 Core? This is the main component which is used for the core functionalities of SAP ERP. So if I talk from the ECC point of view, that was called as ERP Core. or SAP APPL, right? Normally we had SAP APPL, which was a component like 617 stands for EHP7 and all that things. But now here the core component is called as SAP S4 core, and this 101 represents 1610. In case of 1511, this will be 100, 100. And as I told you, this SP level is SP stack. Currently it is all time 0. Okay, all 4 zeros means this is a basic version of 1610. In case of 1511, for example, if I show you 1511 SPS2, you will find this 100 and this will be either 0 or 1 or 2. Okay, so this is how you can identify the proper version and the SP level of a particular SAP product. Okay, let me just go out of this. Now, I think this is something which was even available in ECC. In ECC also you can check the status like this, and even the SPRO screen, if I show you the SPRO screen, you will find that although there are some new activities that you will find which are available, like for example this migration to SAP S4HANA Finance, maybe some other things that you will find which are available for the first time. But otherwise the SPRO screen also looks very much similar. The way in which you will be configuring the things, it has to be done via the SPRO. Even the transactions. So for example, if I talk about the transaction ME21N to create the purchase order, this is also looking same. So why I'm highlighting these points is, although same screens are available, then why we are talking about that SAP is going to provide the new user interface? Where exactly is that user interface? So that user interface is available on top of this original GUI. So this traditional GUI, this is called as traditional GUI now. Traditional GUI means the same screens that we were using till now. Apart from this traditional GUI, SAP is also allowing you to do the transactions using the new screens of SAP Fiori. So for example, this is how I was creating the purchase order earlier. Now if I want to create a purchase order using the new SAP screen, in that case I need to log in onto the SAP Fiori screen. How are you going to log in into SAP Fiori screen? So as you know, SAP Fiori is a web application. Okay, it will be opened in the web browser. So for example, this is a launchpad which is created as a favorite. So if I just talk about this, let's say change favorites. So you can see this is the web ID, or this is a web link which will connect you to the Fiori screen. So you have two options. If you have already added, like in this server it is already added into the favorites, but if I just want to copy this and I can directly go into the Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, I can just write this link and it will ask me, it will connect me to the SAP via the new user interface, which is SAP Fiori. Now similar to the traditional GUI, whenever you log in into traditional GUI, if I just log off from here, so if you double click on this traditional GUI, it asks you which user wants to connect with the password and the language and also the client. Now in this SAP Fiori screen, it is asking you user ID, it is asking you password, it is also asking you the language, but it is not asking you the client. The reason is, for each and every client there will be the separate web link. So for example, I'm not 100%, this is just an example, I'm not saying 100% it will be like this. So for example, this 800 represents the client. Okay, so this is what represents this 800 client. So for 800 there will be the separate web link, and for, let's say if I want to log in into 900 or maybe 500, so for 500 you will be getting a separate link. It is not every time true that this will be always corresponds to your client. So this link can be defined whatever you want, and that has been defined by the Fiori consultants. So sometimes it tells you which client is getting connected via this link. It is very specifically available, but it may happen that sometimes you are getting the link in which you're not able to understand which client it is connecting to. So in short, Fiori consultants will provide you the different links for different clients. Okay, so you don't need to provide any client ID here. Client will be automatically available in the web link. About the user ID and password, this will be exactly same that you use in traditional GUI. So whatever user ID and password is available for you here, the same user ID and password you need to write it here. So let me just try to connect this. Okay, this is called as a login page, as it is normally called whenever you log in into the particular application. Once you provide the information in the login page, once you enter your user ID and password, the next screen that you get is called as SAP Fiori Launchpad. This is called as SAP Fiori Launchpad. What is the meaning of Launchpad now? So normally when you log in into SAP traditional GUI by providing the user ID and password, okay, here you get the screen where you can perform different kind of transactions. Okay, so if you remember the transaction codes, you normally write the transaction code, or if you want to go through the SAP menu, that is the option also which is available to you. But here there is a difference. Now when you log in into SAP Fiori Launchpad, based upon your roles, based upon what role you are playing in the organization. So sometimes, or some of the users are AP processors, some of the users are AR processors, some of the users are, like, let's say for example bank related configuration and all. Some of the users are in the purchasing department, some of the users are in the sales department. So based on that, according to the user ID of the user, it will take you to the apps which are only related to you. So if I log in this particular page from my sales related user ID, I'll be only able to see the sales related transactions. If I log in from purchase related ID, I'll be only able to see the purchase related transactions. But in case of ECC, irrespective of which ID you log in, it gives you all these options. Once you try to open it, then only it will tell you that you are not authorized for this transaction. But here it is not like that. If you are not able to see a particular transaction here, it means that you are not authorized to see. For example, currently you can see there are thousands of activities I can do from this launchpad. There are many different apps which are assigned to my user ID because I have the complete access of Fiori. That is the reason I can see all the different apps available to my ID. But when you talk about the normal scenario, when you talk about let's say a user, so if a purchasing user is logging into SAP, I don't want to provide him block asset, delete asset, or display asset master, because he's not bothered about that. At the same time, if I provide him this access, he may end up in doing some wrong transactions, right? So there is no option of seeing these screens also. He'll be able to see only the apps for which he is authorized. So maximum, I think 20-25 apps will be available to a particular user ID. Okay, so let's take an example. Now whatever tiles you are able to see here, these are called as tiles, or these are also called as apps. Now this screen is very similar to your mobile applications, right? When you log in into your mobile, you are able to see the different applications which are installed in your mobile. So application is nothing but apps, right? So these are similar apps. So these apps are divided basically into three parts. One is the transactional apps. Transactional apps means through which you can perform the transactions. For example, block the asset or delete the asset. This is doing the transaction. You are asking the system to perform some transaction in the background. You want to delete an asset, you want to block an asset. So this kind of transactions or this kind of apps are called as transactional apps. On the other hand, display asset, or maybe display asset, this is just for the display purpose. Okay, so this can be called as an analytical app because this is used for the reporting purpose. So the apps which you use for doing the transaction, they are called as transactional apps. The apps that you use for reporting purpose, they are called as report or analytical apps. Apart from these two apps, there is third kind of apps which you can see here. These are called as KPIs. KPIs means what? KPI mean dashboards. Okay, they are also called as fact sheets. For example, as I told you, if your purchasing user is let's say logging into the SAP Fiori screen, he'll be able to see, like, let's say for example, create purchase requisition, create purchase order, convert the purchase requisition into purchase order, display the purchase order, release the purchase order. So these are some of the kind of apps that your purchasing user will be able to see. At the same time, if I log in into SAP Fiori from, let's say, MD is logging into SAP Fiori, or the CEO, CFO of the company are logging, they are not going to do any transactions. Normally, apart from high level of releasing and all, they are not going to do any transactions directly in the system. But they are more interested in seeing the reports. And report also, they don't want to see a single asset. They don't want to display the asset. They don't want to display a particular document. What they are more interested in is the global level reporting or the dashboards kind of thing. So they want to see how much is total sales. Okay, again the sales, they want to drill down into how this sales is divided into different regions. So this kind of apps which will give them the flexibility to see the entire information at one place, these are normally called as the fact sheets or the dashboards. So in short, there are three kind of apps which are provided by SAP. One is transactional apps, second is analytical apps, and third is the fact sheets. Okay. Now, as I told you, based upon the user ID of the user, he'll be able to see the different reports and he'll be able to see the different purchase requisitions into purchase orders, and I can also see, let's say, change purchase. Sorry, are you able to hear me? Me?
Yes.
You're going in and out,
Okay.
Gaurav.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now. Yeah.
Okay, I think there was some problem. Okay. Yeah. So I was giving you the example. Let's say if I'm a purchasing processor, so in my user ID, I can see create purchase requisition, create purchase order, converting the purchase requisition into purchase order. Now, due to some reason, I realized that although I have the access of creation of purchase requisition, but actually speaking, I don't create the purchase requisitions. Okay, I am responsible for converting the purchase requisitions into purchase orders. So the users create the purchase requisition, it comes to me, and I convert the purchase requisitions into the purchase orders. So even though I am authorized for a particular app, but still I don't need it. In that case, you have a flexibility that you can delete that particular app from your access. But it will not get deleted from your authorization. It will just get hidden. Again, after some time, if you realize, no, I want that back. So you don't need to go to the authorization team, because that is, authorization is already available to you. You decided that I don't want to use it, right? It is like, for example, if I relate this to a simple example, if you are using your mobile and you installed an application, let's say you installed a LinkedIn application. Now you have the choice that if I want that LinkedIn application should come on my home page, so that every time I should not try to find where exactly it is located. So you can move it onto your home page. On the other hand, if you realize the Skype application, which normally I don't use, although it is installed, it may be used in future, but as of now, unnecessarily it is showing on my home screen. So better to have some new apps which I use on day-to-day basis and move Skype to the backend, or maybe remove it from the home page. Same thing you can do it here. If you want, you can delete the particular applications from your launchpad, or if you want the apps to bring onto your launchpad, if you are authorized, then they can be moved into whatever group you want. And as you can see, you can create your own groups also. So let's say if I have 20 different applications which are assigned to me, what I can do is I can map into 5 different groups, 4 application each. So 4 related to master data, 4 related to transactional data, 4 related to reporting. I can do that. Okay, let me show you how to achieve that. Okay, so this is the group that I'm talking about. These are the different groups. Now if I go into this setting, okay, here you can see edit the home page. Okay, before coming to edit the home page, let me talk about the settings. These are the user level settings. Okay, you can specify the appearance. Appearance includes your theme. So basically SAP provides these 2 themes. One is the blue that you are able to see now. Other is the black. So you can decide whether you want to go with this theme or this theme, but these are the only 2 themes which are provided by SAP as of now, and this is always better. The blue one is always better, but you can have this one. In the display settings, this is right to left mode, which means the app, how do you want to see the apps. Okay, so currently it is from left to right. If you move on to this, if you just activate this, just a minute, it is not allowing, I think. Okay, you can change it from here. Maybe I don't have rights, that is the reason I'm not authorized. The language settings you can maintain, the date format, the time format, all these things also you can change. Okay, so this can be handled by the user directly. There is no involvement from the technical person. This can be handled from the user itself. Even the default values, like for example, I am assigned with different kind of transactions. For example, every time when I create a purchase order, system asks me which plant I want to create to. I know I am more responsible, like I have the responsibility of 2 plants, but most of the time I create a purchase order for a particular plant. So that things also you can specify here, like you can specify the, from the controlling point of view, you can specify the controlling characteristics, you can specify the financial accounting, you can specify the financial supply chain management. As of now, these are some things which are available. So you can specify the plant here. Okay, so this is what you can do at your own profile settings level. Okay, let me just okay, and let's go for the home page now, which is the change in the launchpad. If you click on that change mode, just wait a minute, let it come. I think I'm not authorized to do this. Normally, just give me a minute. Let me see if I can change the settings from, because what happened earlier was because we allowed all of them to change the settings, there were a lot of problems created. Okay, I think it is there. Okay, so you can see now, these are some of the transactions which are allowed to me. Okay, let's say for example, if I just go down, yeah, so I realized that this display asset, this is available to me, but I normally don't use it. Or change asset, which is available to me, which I normally don't use it. So I can just click on this remove button. Once I remove it, next time when I log in through my user ID and password, this screen will not be appearing. This app will not be appearing under my user ID. Okay, at the same time, let's say for example, let me just delete this first. I deleted this display asset. Okay, and yes, it is done. Click on this done. So your changes have been done. You are no longer in edit mode. Now again, if I see, even though it is saying that I'm no longer in the edit mode, but it is still processing. So this cross and all will be completely gone once I'm in the display mode. So let's wait for a second till the time I am again in the display mode. Now the reason why this SAP Fiori screens look slower is because you can see thousands of apps are available under my user ID, which is a rare scenario which will not happen in your practical project. At the same time, we also know that this is a test server and the amount of RAM which is deployed on this server is limited. That is the reason at some of the places you'll find the speed is a little bit slower, but it doesn't mean that even in the live projects the speed will be like this. In that case, this is not going to add any value, right? So it will be definitely fast. So now you can see display asset is not available under my user ID. Now after some time, I realized, oh, I actually needed that. Okay, so again, I'll just go back to this edit home page. Okay, it is getting loaded. It will show me all the options of removal and adding.
Gaurav,
Yes.
sorry to disturb you. Like, whose responsibility is to do all this? As a function consultant, should we do it, or user himself will do it?
Are you talking about what activities we are doing now? This
Yeah.
can be done by the user directly.
Okay. Uh,
If he is authorized for a particular transaction, he can manage his own launchpad.
yeah, but you said if the purchasing user will not have all the sales transactions like that, right? Who is going to?
Exactly. So yes, in that case it is different. So what I'm saying is, if you are a purchasing person and you already have 10 apps which are provided to you from the authorization point of view, now you can play with this 10. You can say, okay, I only want 8 out of it, and later on you can bring that 2 back. But for example, being a purchasing person, you are interested in having the sales related transaction also. So in that case, you need to ask your Fiori consultant to provide the necessary authorizations. And these authorizations are exactly same as we do in ECC. So there is a corresponding role which is available for Fiori apps also. In PFCG or in SU01, you will be assigning that role to that particular user. So for example, if I am a purchasing person and if I have ME21 access with me based on a particular role, it is not necessary that that same role will give me the access of create purchase order app on Fiori. For create purchase order on Fiori, there is a separate role. So I need to provide that role also to the user in order to use the Fiori app to create a purchase order. So for each and every app, there is a corresponding role which is provided by SAP. And again, that is normally what we do in ECC or in the current system also. If we are not happy with the standard roles which are provided by SAP, we normally create the copies of it and we segregate that role into multiple parts. So that can also be done for Fiori also.
Okay.
Okay, so now if I want to add a transaction which I just deleted, I know that it was available to me because I was authorized for it. That is the reason it was displayed earlier. So I'll just click on this plus button. It will open this catalog. Catalog is the collection of all the different apps for which you are authorized. Okay, it is still loading. Let it get loaded first and then we'll try to search the display asset. Okay, you can see it is loading all the apps which are available under my authorization, and out of that, because it is going to show you thousands of apps, because all these thousands of apps are I am authorized for. So out of that, if I want to find a particular one, I'll be just using this search menu. In the search menu, I'll just write display asset and it will show me there. And it will give me the option of tick now. Earlier it was showing the option of cross. It will give me the option of tick, which means I want to add that particular app into my home page. Let's wait for a minute.
Gaurav, by the time it comes, okay, I have a question. You said that Fiori roles are different, right? You mean to say Fiori role is different from the SAP S4HANA role?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have to maintain two roles in this case, right?
Yes. See, normally what happens
So,
is, normally what will happen is, you are not going to provide, this is a normal scenario, you are not going to provide both the access to the end user. Either you will ask him to do the transactions via SAP Fiori, or you will ask him to do the transactions via the traditional GUI. So let's take an example of creation of purchase order. So you need to decide whether you will allow to create the purchase order using the traditional GUI, or you want the user to use a new screen instead of the old screen. So if you want the user to create the purchase order based on the original transaction, that is ME21N, in that case you need to assign that particular role, which might be already assigned if you are talking from the old customer point of view, right? But in case of, if you want that now the user should be shifted to SAP Fiori, so in that case definitely you will be asking the new role to be assigned and the earlier role will be deleted. Normally you don't provide both the roles. It is either Fiori or traditional Jiva, not both.
okay, Gaurav, yeah.
Okay, it is still loading.
In case of
Specifically
default
on this server it
values,
is very slow. Yeah, sorry.
okay. And you have shown us in the settings, right, default values. There we could able to see for CO controlling area and others. Like that, do we have option to select the sales organization like the sales area?
I think currently it is not available, but that is also going to become in future, because if I talk from 15.11 point of view, even these options were not available earlier. In 15.11 we were only getting the options from FI and CO. Now at least we are getting the option of plant and some other information. So what is happening is, this is under the development. The Fiori, you will find there are a lot of things which are coming on day-to-day basis. Even if
Okay.
you read the 1610 documentation, you will find that the SAP Fiori, this is a new version of SAP Fiori called as Fiori 2.0. So whatever we were using earlier, that was the old version. Now SAP has came up with a new version. So every time, even if I show you some apps today, after 10-15 days you will find there are more number of apps which are provided by SAP. So these things will keep on improving on day-to-day basis. I'll just tell you the history till the time this gets loaded. See, what was happening is, although we all agree that SAP is a very good product in terms of integration, in terms of integrated processes, but the same screens we are using from years, right? Now the world is changing. Everybody is talking about doing the transactions from mobiles rather than working on the systems, and at the same time the SAP screens are not also very easy to use. So normally we end up, when you provide the training to some new user, there are normally lot of errors in the earlier days the user makes. And that is the reason many big companies they are like into, they want that this simplification should be available, and there should be the simplification in the screen in which the transactions are done. So what has happened over the years, many companies started their own in-house projects to develop the new screens which are simple to use. And they also asked SAP to provide some new user interface. So you must have heard about Lumira, screen personas. So these are all the things which SAP tried earlier to make sure that the screens are simplified. But they were not very successful, and then came SAP Fiori. So when SAP Fiori was developed, there were only, I think, 10 or I don't remember the exact number. There were around 10 or 15 or maximum 20 different transactions which SAP has identified that they want to make this screen simpler. So around 20 screens were made simpler, but the response was very good, and that is the reason from that 20 today we have around more than thousands of apps which are developed on Fiori. So till today also, not all the transactions which you were able to do via traditional GUI, not all the transactions are available on SAP Fiori. There are still some transactions which needs to be done from the traditional GUI itself. And in some of the cases, even though the SAP Fiori screen is available, but it is just the copy of the traditional GUI. There is no simplification done as of today. Okay, so this product is still under, like we can say, there are a lot of new things which are coming on day-to-day basis. So that is one good idea. So sales organization, purchase organization, these all things will come in maybe in future. So let's try whether it has already come or not. Once we are able to see this adding the display asset, I'll just show you, because currently I think it is only controlling financial accounting, FSCM, and in others it is only showing you some 4 options. It is taking too much of time, and this server particularly, the 1610 is comparatively, if I talk from the Fiori point of view, otherwise server is very fast, but Fiori is even slower compared to 1511 also. Okay, till the time this gets loaded, let's talk about some other things maybe. Okay, so what I've said in short is, as of today, even when I talk about 1511, when I talk about 1610, the old screen is also available, the traditional GUI. Most of the time as a consultants, we will be using the same SPRO screen with definitely the changes. I'm not saying whatever configuration we were doing will remain same. There are a lot of changes in the configuration. There are some new configurations in place. There are some old configurations which are no more available. But the way in which you do, like normally you go to SPRO and you will get all the configurations available there, that will remain same for some time. And in future, even for performing the configuration, you will be getting the Fiori apps. As we discussed yesterday, guided configuration. So guided configuration is what? Guided configuration is, even for the consultants, the life will become easier. So currently for one particular activity, you need to go to this path and then you need to go to this path to perform the configuration. But what guided configuration mean is, they will provide one Fiori app through which it is just like next, right? So for example, how many company codes you want? Okay, I want 4 company codes. You enter the 4 number there. You click on next, it will ask you, okay, what is going to be the name of all these 4 company codes? So you'll be writing the 4 company codes name. Again, you click on next. It will ask you, okay, what will be the fiscal year variant for this? You'll be entering that. What will be the chart of account? So this is called as a guided configuration, which will make your life easy and it will allow you to perform your configuration faster. But that is something which is as of today in the plant stage. In future, we are expecting that we'll be getting this kind of guided configuration through which we can do this configuration. But as of today, you need to use this SPRO screen to perform all the configuration. So you can follow the same method that you were following till now. Only the difference is, earlier you were touching the system only when the realization phase was started. But now, before you start the realization, you are using the cloud trial version that we discussed yesterday to demonstrate the capabilities of SAP S4HANA and to come up with the fit gap analysis document. But once you are into the realization phase, your SPRO, your developments will work as they were working earlier. There will be one additional or one change here. So earlier, we were talking about the old traditional screens, like we were doing ME21 and to create a purchase order. Now, for example, SAP has provided a Fiori screen through which you can create a purchase order. Now this is available. Okay, so through which you can create a purchase order. So when you are demonstrating, you will be demonstrating both the options. So this is the way how you can create a purchase order. Now if the client decides that I want to use the new Fiori app to create a purchase order, and he asks you that, okay, everything is fine in Fiori, but I need 2 additional columns to be added in the Fiori screen of creation of purchase order. So normally, if you get the same requirement in ECC, you will involve your web consultant to add into your ME21 screen. Either you change the standard screen, or it is not suggested, you will create ZME21N with those 2 fields. But now, if the client is asking you to add that 2 fields into Fiori, so a web consultant alone will not be able to help you. Because not only from the technical, from the backend point of view, you want to add 2 fields, you want to show that 2 fields in your Fiori screen also. So for Fiori related changes, a web person will not be able to help you. It will be done by the Fiori consultant, or HTML5, UI5. These are some of the different terminologies which are used for the consultants who are actually going to make the changes in the Fiori screens. Okay, so if you are getting such a requirement that you want to change something in the Fiori screen, you need to involve your UI5 consultant. At the same time, your ABAP consultant will also be required, because whatever change you will be doing in Fiori, that needs to be posted back into the database also. Okay, so it will be combination of Fiori as well as ABAP. Okay, let me just try to find this now. So what I want to add here, I want to add the display asset. Okay, so if I'm just trying to see if it is directly available, otherwise I need to find it out from the search button. Okay, this will keep on, the apps will keeps on increasing till the time all the apps are not loaded. So display material I'm able to see, but display asset, it is still not available. It is keeping on adding. Okay, so this is one option. You can find the display asset by just dragging down, or the other option is, again, you can go into the search button and write that particular app. But again, it will take time, because if you search one particular app from the list of thousands of apps, it is again going to take a time. Display asset. And one thing to note here, as soon as I change, see, as soon as I change the content in this search field, this is like a Google search. So if I write D, it will bring all the apps where D is available. If I say display, it will bring all the apps where the display keyword is available, right? So I want display asset. I'll just click on, or I'll just type display asset completely. So it will filter out only the relevant transactions. You can see this display asset is now available, and you can see it is asking you to add. So if I click on this add, it is going to add this in the master data, asset accounting master data. And now it is saying that it has been added. Okay, so once this is done, there is no button for done here. I think it is, I hope this is done. Let's go back to home page now and see if I am able to see this display asset or not. So I can see the display asset now. All right, so this is how you can control whether you want to see a particular app on your home screen or you want to hide that particular app. Another very, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So if the user has that display asset authorization only, then he will be able to see this, right?
Yes, yes.
Or
So for example,
while adding, will it give the error message saying that you are not authorized to add?
no, 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 it will not show you at all, because as I told you,
Okay.
the apps are coming from the catalog, and
Got
catalog
it.
means for what you are authorized.
Got it, Gaurav.
Yeah. Okay, so I just click on this done. So it was not showing us there, but once you come onto the home screen, it is allowing you, because it was still in the edit mode. So I clicked on done. Now it is changing into the display mode. One other very important thing here is, many times the guys asked me, is it it is in real time integrated or what? Fiori and traditional GUI, are they real time integrated, or whatever transaction you do in Fiori, in the batches they post into the SAP screen? So this is a very big confusion in the industry. Many guys think that SAP Fiori is something which is keeps the data in it for some time, and at some regular interval it posts the data to the traditional ERP system. That is not the case at all. SAP Fiori is just a new user screen. It is in real time integrated with your HANA database. So whatever transactions you do in Fiori, in real time it will get updated in the same database, the database which is being used when you are doing the transaction even from the traditional GUI also. Just to show you an example, if I click on this change asset here, and if I'm processing a particular asset, if I go through the traditional GUI and run the transaction AS02, which is again to change the asset, it will throw the error. It will tell that this asset is already being processed, which means irrespective of whether you use the traditional GUI or you use SAP Fiori, both are connected to the database in the real time. There is no time lag in between Fiori and the database. Right? That is one thing that you need to be very careful, because many times even during the mid of the course and towards the end of the course also I get this question that, okay, we understood what is Fiori, but whether it updates the database in real time or not. It is always real time. It is just a new user screen. Otherwise, the functionality and all, it is exactly same as what you create in traditional GUI. Okay, just wait for a minute. I'll show you this same thing what I'm talking about. Maybe next time what I need to do is, for my user ID, I will make sure that I only have the apps which we needed for our training purpose. Rather than having all these apps, it is taking too much of time to load. So in my user ID, I will make sure that I have a limited number of apps which are working faster. It is too slow today. Yeah, any questions till that time? Till the time this gets loaded, any questions till now?
Gaurav, you spoke about the apps. First, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So you said about the KPI apps. How different is it from BI reports?
Yes, see, KPI indicators can come from your BI also. See, normally for BI reporting, normally you go to the BI system, right? But now this SAP Fiori screen can bring the data from all different applications in the same screen. So for example, it may happen that this display asset, it is coming from your ECC system or maybe SAP S4HANA core system. At the same time, there is another KPI report which is in real time coming from BW or BI. So you are right, the calculations and all will definitely happen in BI, but in Fiori you can show that KPI indicators directly into the Fiori screen.
Thank you.
Okay, let me tell you one or two properties of SAP Fiori. First thing, I think you understood that the whole intention of coming up with SAP Fiori is to make the screen simpler. So SAP Fiori, first of all, is simple to use compared to the traditional GUI that we were using. Second thing, it is completely role-based. As we discussed, if you are not authorized for a particular transaction, you will not be able to see that particular app at all. It is not like ECC where you are able to see everything, but when you double click on that particular transaction, then only you realize, oh, I'm not authorized for this transaction. Here it is not like that. Here, if you are not authorized, you will not be able to see that app at all in your Launchpad. That is the reason it is called as role-based. Third is responsive. Responsive means based on the device that you are using. So currently if I am using laptop, it adjusts the screen according to the laptop. For example, if you use the same link on your mobile device, and if it shows 4 items in a row, it will be very small, right? You will not be able to see that in your mobile screen at all. What you need is, in mobile, it should only show you this 4 options, like it should only show you 2 apps in a particular line. So that is called as a responsive. Based on the device that you are using, it will automatically adjust itself and it will give you the better look compared to like only giving you the same information what you are getting in computer. That is the reason it is called as responsive. At the same time, it is platform independent. So even if you use this SAP Fiori link on your Apple iPhone, or if you are using on Microsoft, or you are using on Android, this is not going to be different. It is going to give you the same look and feel. So it is a platform independent. It is not dependent on any platform. And finally, the question that you asked. Sorry, what did you ask now? Can you just come up with what you asked currently?
He asked, I think, how different this KPI fact sheet are from the BI reports. Is that?
Yes,
Or,
yes, yes.
something?
That is the final property, which means this is coming from all the systems together. So a single Fiori screen in your launchpad, let's say you are using 3 different systems. If I talk from the ECC point of view, or maybe let's talk about SAP S4HANA. So SAP S4HANA core system is different, your CRM system is different, and your BW system is different. So you are using 3 different systems. Now normally when you work on 3 different systems, if you want to do the transaction in SAP S4, you need to log in into SAP S4. Again, if you want to see the reports in BW, you need to come out of SAP S4 and you need to log in into SAP BW. That is not required here, because what will happen is you can bring the apps from all different applications into one common launchpad. So as I told you, you can have this, let's say, create asset, which is coming from SAP S4 core system, and you can have a KPI which is actually coming from BI at the same place in the same screen. So you don't need to log off and log in again from different applications. You'll get a one common screen through which you can access all the applications at once. So that is another benefit of using this SAP Fiori screens. It's taking a lot of time. Don't worry about whatever we are discussing. We have all this documented in the PPT. So even if you are not writing on the notepad, that is not a problem. All these features and all, you'll be getting the PPT in which you'll be getting all these things mentioned.
Gaurav, I have a related question. Earlier you said the Fiori of web link is belong to one client, like 800. And
Yes.
how that one web address can point to multiple like ECC and BW and all that.
Yes. See, in the configuration, when you set up the Fiori system, the Fiori consultant has the option of, when you say that when I log in into 800 system, I want to see the BI and which BI is taking the data from this particular client, for example. So that mapping is done in the Fiori configuration. So whenever you are logging into 800, which BI system should be reflected in that you can mention in the mapping that you provide in the Fiori configuration.
That means the web address it doesn't mean that it is pointing to one server only. It can be multiple servers, is it?
It can be multiple servers, but at least the starting point will be one. So starting point will be one. You are going into 800.
Okay.
Yes.
From there it will go to BW in case there is a analytical app or
Yes. So there
KPI.
is a yes, there is a link between that client and BW client, for example. So whenever I'm logging into this 800 client, whenever I ask any information from BW, this will redirect this particular app to that client of BW.
Gaurav, hey Gaurav.
Yes.
So
This is just a front end to your core S4HANA, right?
Yes, this is the front end. This is only front end. Whatever we are
Yeah.
talking about theory, this is just a new user interface, nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So just let's forget about this theory and let's see on S4HANA, the core S4HANA 1611. So that is integrated with all your systems like BI, BW, CRM, ECC, blah, blah, blah. Is it connected? Is it connected S4HANA or how is the architecture? I think I forgot this question actually because how this architecture works? I mean, it's connected to other systems, S4HANA standalone or how it communicates with other systems in order to get the data in and out.
Okay. See, let's talk about ECC first. So in ECC, you had a ERP core, which was consisting of the core modules like MM, SD, PP, FI, CO, right? On top of that, you had CRM, SRM, SLM applications, which were installed on the separate server and the interface was created, right? Now the same thing is available in SAP S4HANA also. So with SAP S4HANA, you are getting the SAP S4 core, okay, which consists of the core modules, like whatever are the delta changes in MM, SD, they are all available on the SAP S4 core system. Now, as of today, CRM, SRM, SLM, these applications are still available as the independent applications, which can be connected in the same way as they were connected in ECC. But going forward, in next 1 or 2 years, the plan is to bring the functionalities which are available in SRM, CRM separately, to bring that functionalities and make them part of the same SAP S4HANA core system. But that will take time. But as of today, the interfacing is done exactly same as it was done in ECC.
So that means now, okay, probably I'm asking a very basic question. So this S4HANA core system is only delta of, I mean, I'm still a bit confused. So it is not connected with ECC, so that all is a copy of ECC. How is the connectivity between ECC and S4HANA?
So there is no need of connectivity between ECC and SAP S4 because when you are moving to SAP S4, you are discarding ECC, right?
So that means it's gone scrap, your ECC scrap. So this is altogether a similar kind of ECC.
Exactly. So this is replacing your, yes, it is like if I just give you a simple example, if you were using ECC EHP6, now you upgrade to EHP7. So it will bring on new functionalities and your version will be upgraded. So this is just like that. Only thing is, this is not a simple upgrade of 1 or 2 functionalities. There are a lot of new functionalities which are coming in, and that is the reason they called it as a completely new product.
Right. Thank you.
But logic is same. Logic is same, yes.
Gaurav, this is Ravi here.
Yes, Ravi. Yes, Ravi, I can hear you.
Okay. When I log in and when I click on that launch theory button, it's showing me the URL, but it's giving me a message saying your connection is not private and it's not giving me, I mean, it's not letting me go any further. Is that something I have to deactivate on my side to?
Are you talking about the same server which we are using?
Yes.
So you are not able to log in through this particular node, you mean to say, right?
No, I'm able to log in, yeah, into the Fiori.
Okay.
So it says your connection is not private message.
Okay.
The privacy error. Maybe I have to turn off some of the firewalls or something like that.
Yes, I think there is something which is on your laptop which is causing that issue. So are you using company's laptop?
Yeah, it's a company's laptop, but I'm not on their VPN or anything.
No, but I think there will be some proxy or something which is stopping you to connect to this. Just try this with, if possible, try this with your own laptop or computer. I think that will definitely work.
One question, I'll try that. Is there required apps that are available to access this from the iPad or something?
Yes, see, it is available, but only thing is they need to be activated separately. Are you talking from this server point of view?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, for this server, you need to write a mail to Krishna or Sana, whoever you are coordinating with. And if they have something, they will provide it to you. But normally, I will tell you what happens. So I don't think in this server, there will be any app which will be allowed for Android or any of the platform. I'll tell you the reason, because this is the test server and nobody wants to do something on the mobiles. But at the same time, there must be some of the consultants who are learning Fiori, and there must be some trainers who must have activated some of the apps which can be accessed. So you can just check with them. If possible, they will provide you, but otherwise in the companies, not all the apps are available on mobile. It is like, for example, blocking the asset, it is not required to be done on mobile. Normally, what I need on mobile is something which is very urgent, like releasing the purchase order. That should be available on my mobile. So such type of apps are normally handy and they are allowed to be accessed from mobile. But I think around not more than 10-15 apps are allowed from mobile device. Although it is possible, but not kept to maintain the privacy.
Okay, related question, and thanks for that. In real time, in the projects, if the company has already deployed their mobile assets, then the standard SAP, the S4HANA, has it given any apps for, say, for the core transaction, just like you said, create a PO or create a sales order, things like that? Has it given anything by default?
Yes. Whatever apps we are currently seeing, like for example, currently we are able to see most of the apps because I'm assigned to all the transactions, but definitely for creating the purchase requisition, creating the purchase orders, there are a lot of apps which are provided by SAP. And even I'm going to show you that when we'll be running the cycle. So on top of that, I'll be also providing you one link in which you will find all the different kind of apps that SAP has provided till date. So going forward also, whatever new apps will come, that they will already start appearing in that particular link.
Okay, thanks. I got it.
Yeah, I think this is taking time, and again, I had some throat problem today, so I was just thinking of taking this only for 1 hour. So if you have any questions, we can discuss today. Otherwise, what I will do is I will make sure that I have the limited number of apps available for next time, so that we can be able to see this Fiori, whatever topics we want to discuss from the Fiori point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody has any other questions they want to clarify today? It may be related to our previous sessions also. So somebody who has some questions related to previous topic, that also we can discuss now for next 10-15 minutes.
Gaurav, sorry. Yeah, please proceed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Gaurav, this is the fourth session, I guess, right? In this
yes,
batch?
Shrikant, this is fourth session. Yes.
So you meant to say that yesterday I attended and today is okay, and yesterday I had the previous session, and you said that last week you have conducted one session. So
no, I think Shrikant, that was a confusion. Actually, I completed 2 sessions. So one is on SAP S4HANA. So do you have that recordings with you?
No, Krishna has he has sent me the recording which was happened on the 24th.
Just a minute. 24th.
Yes.
Okay, 24th is only one session. That is not sufficient. So you need the recordings of, I think, 10th and 11th, because 17th and 18th we doesn't have class. I was busy with Colab. So 10 and 11, I will just ask Krishna to send the recordings to you.
Yeah, please, Gaurav. Yeah. Yes.
10 and 11 you.
I'll talk. Yeah. 10th and 11th, right? Okay. So can you please tell me what you have discussed in the 10th and 11th session at very high level?
Yes. See, if you already got the recording of 24th, see, normally we don't have session on 24th. It is only on Saturday and Sunday. But the guys who are not able to attend this 10th and 11th session who were joining yesterday's class for the first time, we arranged the session for them on 24th. All right. So whatever we discussed on 10th, that you already got the recordings for 24th. So you are only left with this 11th recording, which means we talked about the basics of SAP S4HANA, like basics of like what is SAP Fiori. Today we discussed in detail, but last time we just discussed what is SAP Fiori, what are the simplified processes, and the complete history of how exactly all these things started. What is the difference between SAP HANA and SAP S4HANA? What is SAP S4 Core? All these things, some of the things we discussed in that particular session. So my request will be go through that recording, and if you have any doubt, you can ask Krishna to ask me to join 10 or 15 minutes earlier in the next session, next Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll clarify your doubt.
Okay. Okay, Gaurav. Yeah, I'll talk to Krishna to forward these 10th and 11th sessions to me.
Yes, I think 11th is also fine, but it will be good if you ask both.
Okay, fine. Okay, Gaurav. Thank you.
Yes, any other questions? Yeah, Gaurav, Pradeep here. I'm not sure if you have covered it in earlier sessions, but how, fully evolved is the current version, that clients want to go and transform it or, implement it newly. Is it fully evolved version or, or do they need to wait for some more time?
Are you talking about 1610?
Yes.
No, see, this is not completely, see, I'll tell you what. It all depends upon what is the requirement from the customer. So for example, everything we discussed this, but again, let me just tell you for the guys who have not attended that session, please mute your mic. There is some background noise. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so see, SAP started all these developments, the simplifications with SAP Simple Finance. Okay, so SAP came up with version 1503, that is in March 2015, in which all the other modules were as it is. There was no change in other modules. And the simplifications were only done in financial module. Okay, and then in 1511, November 2015, SAP came up with the second version called as 1511. In 1511, whatever simplifications were done in finance, they were available. On top of that, SAP has done some simplifications in the core modules of logistics like MM, SD and PP. So 1511 contains simplifications in finance as well as simplifications in core modules of MM, SD and PP. Now, again, SAP came up with the third version, that is 1610. Now 1610 again has some simplifications over and above what they have provided in 1511. So for example, some of the industry specific solutions which were not supported in 1511, now they are supported in 1610. But as of today also, when you talk about CRM, SRM, APO, EWM, these are some of the functionalities which are not completely available within S4. So in the future versions, SAP is trying to bring the core functionalities of SRM, CRM, APO, EWM all within the same component. You don't need separate server for all this. It will be available in the common server, one server. So that is something which is expected in future. So if the customer is waiting for that, in that regards, he need to wait. But if he's only interested in whatever is available today, for example, simplification in MRP layer, simplification in credit management, simplification in the way that you do the transactions through SAP Fiori, then I think this is the right time. You don't need to wait further.
Yeah, I understood that logistics, they can go for the simplification and they can choose S4HANA. But they might have customized a lot of things, right? See, earlier, whatever the standard options available in ECC, they felt it's not sufficient and they went for Z versions, right? So how useful is this simplification for them? Considering all those Z things they have done, would they be able to continue to use those ones, or they don't need to use those?
No, see, that is a very important thing. Like if the customer is already working SAP from last many years and he has many Z objects that he has created to suit his business requirement, and if you ask that customer that, okay, go with SAP S4HANA and you will need to do everything from scratch, he is definitely not going to go for SAP S4, right? And that is the reason, if you remember yesterday, we talked about 3 different scenarios. One is new implementation, second is system conversion. So in case of system conversion, all your old reports, the Z reports and all, will remain as it is. But at the same time, since there are some changes at the technical level, for example, if one table which was available in ECC and you have created a report which is trying to get the data from that table, if that table itself is not available, in that case, you need to make some manual adjustments. But in short, if you have 100 Z reports that you have created, out of that 80 reports will work as it is and 20 reports may require some adjustments before they can be used in SAP S4. So not all the reports need to be redeveloped. There are some reports which may require some rework.
Okay.
Gaurav, you mean to say that, for example, okay, in case of system conversion, okay, in my current ECC environment, for example, I have created 100 G tables for a G process, okay, for different process. So I need to, before the system conversion in the SAP S4HANA, I need to build this 100 G fields in that system.
No. I'm saying once you do the system conversion, automatically all these reports, all these tables will be available on SAP S4.
Sorry, come again, Gaurav, please.
See, if you have 100 reports, or let's divide this 100 custom objects into different parts. So out of 100 custom objects, you have 20 Z reports, you have 20 Z tables, you have 20 Z forms, and let's say 40 other Z objects. Okay. So now you don't need to copy them manually. When you perform the upgrade to SAP S4HANA, all these 100 objects will be available on the new system automatically. Okay. Only thing is, from the table point of view, if you have 20 tables, they will be unimpacted. They will remain as it is. But from the reporting point of view, let's say this 20 tables, out of these 20 tables, 2 tables are trying to extract the data from the table which is no more available. I'm talking about the standard table. In that case, you may need to perform some adjustment. Otherwise, all the other 18 reports will work as they were working earlier.
I think I remember in one of the previous session, I think, okay, you said that, for example, if I am in my G report, if I am trying to get the document number from the, MKPF, but you said that, so it will, our report will go and try to search the table, then it directly, directly it will redirect to that MAT doc table, like that you said, no?
Yes.
So in that case
so
also we need to make tweaks. Okay.
No, in that case, no adjustment is required. So in some of the cases, even though the tables are not available, system knows how to bring that data, right? But there are some tables for which this logic is not available. So in that case, you may need to perform the adjustment.
Okay, so how would we will come to know, okay, this logic is there in this case and
yes,
this
so
not?
that is again a very good question. This we are going to discuss in detail when we talk about conversion, but the answer is SAP has provided a tool for that. So you don't need to worry, like if I ask you to check 100 reports, whether they will work as it is or not, it is practically impossible, right?
Correct.
So SAP has provided a tool. You will be using that tool, and by using this tool, you will be able to know which reports are impacted and which report will work as it is.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yes.
Gaurav, this is Ravi here.
Yes.
Maybe this question, answer to this question will help everybody here. In the system access that has been given to us, there are, I see a lot of company codes, companies and all that. Is there any one company that is set up by experts like you so that we can run some transactions and get a feel of it and all that, and which is not touched by others?
Yes, Ravi, actually, this is a completely new system which we are using from around 20-25 days. So already the batches which are going on, I have created 2 companies. You can refer to slog or SL01. Okay, slog and SL01, but they are not completely configured because they are like the sessions are going on. So I'm just for you also from the next session when we'll be starting the practical things, for you also I'll be creating a new company code. Okay, so if you want to do it now, you can refer to slog and SL01, but if you want to go with me, whenever I'll do something, you want to follow the same thing, for that you don't need to worry, because for this particular batch, I'm going to create a new company code completely.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Okay, so let's close today, and we'll meet again next week, and from next week, we'll be having lengthier sessions. So I think we are done with the theoretical topics now. So maybe minimum 1.5 or 2 hours, we'll be having this session from next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gaurav?
Hello.
Hello, Gaurav.
Hello, Gaurav.
I think he's left.
I think, yeah, he left.
Hey, Ravi, this is Giri. I think I forgot. Yesterday he told that he's going to give you links to some building blocks, right? I just wanted to ask.
Can you repeat that?
Yesterday he told that he's going to give building blocks, the documentation. Do you remember that?
Actually, yesterday part of the session I was in and out because of my internet.
Yeah, he told that he's going to give some building blocks for building block document for
Something.
yeah. I just wanted to
yeah, maybe we can send him an email.
Okay.
We have his email ID, or we can connect with Krishna, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will also talk to him. Actually, I need to get those. Did you all get the recordings of the previous sessions?
Yeah, we have two recordings. I had 17th and 18th. That's it.
I see. Okay, I haven't gotten anything. I'd love to talk to Krishna then. Thanks. Whom am I speaking to?
Giri.
Hey, Giri. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, this is Srikanth. Are we going to get each and every session recording?
That's what my understanding was. That's what I remember when I communicated with Srikanth before. Well, maybe I will send an email. Maybe better we all, whoever wants, maybe we can send an email to him and he may send it.
Yeah, I think yeah, we are supposed to get recordings of all the sessions and also the PPTs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's catch
so far it is just the introductory stuff and the theoretical stuff. So from now on, I think we need to get all the recording. I mean, of course, we should get everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you all next week then.
Thank you.